What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So Jim Ryan, crying lion Jim Ryan, has to open his mouth. I swear, the more he talks, the more I hate him. Not because he has a lot of money, not because he's a British white man. That has no bearing on major anything. Anyway, he's just a pompous fool. I don't like pompous people in general. I don't like people who feel that they're, privileged and they deserve or are, they have some type of a royal, just they are, deserving of certain treatments or whatever. It doesn't make any sense. So he came out his face again, not making Sony look good at all. I wonder what the Japanese Japanese CEOs are saying. I'm like, what are they? Do they care? Are they even looking at this, or they're like, whatever, as long as we make money? I don't know. But anyway, Ryan's talking about he's congratulating the CMA for looking into the Microsoft thing further and blah blah blah, protecting gamers. Anyway, I'm gonna throw the quote up right about here.
By giving Microsoft control of Activision's games like Call of Duty, this deal will have major negative implications for gamers and the future of the gaming industry. Sony says in a statement, game industry.biz. We want to guarantee PlayStation gamers continue to have the highest quality gaming experience, and we appreciate the CMA's focus on protecting gamers.
And there you go. So it's like, it almost sounds like some petty high school debate club thing. Or not quite, because if you watch debate clubs now, I don't know why it's been this way, but it's more about cramming in as many words as you can within the allotted time rather than actually making a valid point. I think he's part of that school of just talking to make noise instead of remaining silent. Have you noticed that most of this generation, Sony hasn't said nothing. They don't say anything. They're quiet. When something goes down, they make a bad decision or whatever, they don't say nothing. They make the decision, boom, keep it moving, right? But now, when something's not going their way or they feel threatened, they're scared, they're like, oh my God, oi, what's going on here, governor? How can they do this? We are Sony. I'm like, why? It's so annoying. But it adds to the drama, kind of, sort of. It's kind of flavorful. My many issues. One of the issues I have is that Sony is literally actively destroying video games. Now, ponies and donkey unicorns are going to disagree because that's their team and they can do no wrong. But look at what they're doing: raising prices, making it harder for devs. Crossplay, charging devs more. They're doing everything antithetical to growing and nurturing organically nurturing the industry. They don't care about the industry. They care about their products making all the money. That's it. That's not how you grow the industry. You make a compelling product that's better than the rest. Not fixing the game, fixing the rules so that no one else can compete or makes it harder to compete. And when a company comes along and says, okay, this is how the game is played, okay, we're going to buy this and what? Throw up the hands. Hold up. That's not how we're playing the game. Yes, it is. See, here's examples of how we played the game. Insomniac, You bought them. You bought Bungie. Nobody said nothing about that, right? Okay. So, yeah, we're good. So, everything that Jim Ryan is saying is all kind of a facade, and it's all a delay tactic, basically. Because they need as much time as they can to make a Call of Duty competitor. Those 10 games, 12 games, 15 games, however many games of service. They already burned through like 5 of them already. So those games, you know why there's so many of them? Because they need to hit. They need to make a banger. You look at Destiny, it's like, is Destiny making that Call of Duty money? Hell no. So what their plan is to do is to do quantity over quality, which is antithetical to what PlayStation is all about. Remember, PlayStation is all about quality games, quality games. They can't do that because they suck at games of service. They always have, and as far as I'm concerned, they always will. They bought Bungie. That's cool. That's a good look. But Bungie kind of sucks at that too. Look at Destiny. The structure of Destiny is more like Warframe and not like Halo or not like Call of Duty, let's just say. Not like Fortnite. And that's the problem with Destiny. And so if they take that formula and make another Destiny but different, whatever, that's not going to work because Destiny is not working on that Call of Duty scale. It's possible that they can make it Call of Duty. They can throw SOCOM at Bungie, or they can create a team with a bunch of Bungie people to help them get that first person flavor down. That's totally possible. But then again, Bungie has never made a Call of Duty game. They've made Halo. And we see where Halo's at right now. Halo is very specific and is very it's not unique, but within the genres, it is. And so they haven't made that game. They've made Destiny, which is Halo Junior, if you will. It's not as, if you take the multiplayer sections of Halo Infinite and multiplayer versions or sections of Destiny 2, Halo's better, arguably. I will say Halo's better. Single player wise, I guess Destiny is, but it's really about their loop, the combat loop, not so much the actual world itself. I like the open world of Halo and the grapple shot. It's just the movement in Halo is ridiculous. It's really good. Anyway, they cannot make a Call of Duty. And that's why they're throwing that's why they threw all their studios under the bus. They just bought Bungie. They still were talking about, we can't do it. It's not even about that. They have been lying all this generation. They lied to their fans. We believe in generations. They lied. They're doing everything bad, right? And then they lied about, oh, we can't compete with Call of Duty, blah blah blah. They're saying all this stuff. It's all smoke and mirrors, because the real reason why they don't want Microsoft to take control of Call of Duty is because of the money. The money. Regardless of the fact that people will migrate over to Xbox because Xbox owns Activision, Xbox owns Call of Duty. It's just a perception thing, even though each game on each console will be the same, feature complete, unlike what Sony's been doing for the past 10 years or whatever, been locking away exclusive stuff. You know what I'm saying? Microsoft is so gracious, man. I wish that Sony could taste a little bit of their own medicine. They need to be put in their place. And Jim Ryan needs to be more humble. He needs to be humbled. I want to see Microsoft smack the hell out of Sony. That's what I want. I want to see it. They can. They're so much more powerful, so much more money that they can do it. But they're being very smart right now. Phil Spencer should win CEO of the year because he's up on the news. He's up on C. Was he on CNN? I don't know. He was on the news. Somebody was interviewing him for like 4 minutes, and he was saying all this stuff. It was a very long interview because they cut it, but he was saying all the right words, and then within one sentence, he backed up what Microsoft is doing, Xbox is doing as far as their acquisition, alleviating any worries about monopolies and messing up competition. At the same time, slapping Sony across the face, backhanding all the rings, brap, across the face. I was like, wow. I hope Phil Spencer wrote that. I hope he did, because I like him. I was not offended by Phil Spencer at all. I know he's a CEO and everything, but I understood where he came from, and I understood that he is from, programming. He's a gamer. He's a programmer. So that within itself is an excellent indication of a leader who understands what it takes to make the games and what games should be, to him. It's not all about making the money first and the tertiary knowledge of, video games are this. Pac-Man, I played that when I was 29. Jim Ryan. So Phil Spencer, the longer he's there, the better I feel about Xbox's future, because ever since he got there, he's been making the right moves. And even though people say, oh man, Scalebound was canceled, Phil needs to be fired because he doesn't know how to manage, I think Phil's doing a great job. I think Phil knows exactly if you compare what Phil says versus Jim Ryan, come on, son. It's not even a competition. Jim Ryan is literally a joke if you look at what he says. And listen, I'm not even a business dude like that, right? But I'm like, yo, that's I can smell bullshit. I can smell it through the internet. And so I'm like, why? That's some bullshit right there. Even Destin Legary said BS. He said the words. I was like, whoa, Destin, with the language, man. I'm in public listening to this. Nah, actually, I wasn't. I had my earphone. Anyway, I'm just like, when you get Wonder Bread, Destin Legary, when you get mayonnaise and Wonder Bread, Destin Legary cursing on his show, come on, you know you done messed up. So one of my questions is, how long will Sony put up with Jim Ryan? I would assume as long as he's making the money, yes, which is going to end this generation. So I will predict at the end of this generation, PlayStation 5 generation, Jim Ryan's gone, because you're going to see a steep decline of revenues on the PlayStation side because of Call of Duty, because of Game Pass, because of all the moves that Microsoft's making. And don't forget, Microsoft hasn't even put out the games that all these acquisitions are going to bear fruit from, right? They put out Forza Horizon 5, which was excellent. They put out Halo Infinite, which was excellent at the time. Now it's a little, but it's still there. I don't have it. I'm not worried about all this hyperbole about, oh, Halo's dead and all that. Just shut up. Y'all don't know what you're talking about. Halo's fine. There's nothing wrong with the game. You know what they need. They working on it, so it's all good, right? So they haven't really even put out games yet, and Sony's scared. And Microsoft isn't even doing nothing yet. They're just like, we just shopping. We just go buy some stuff. What? Oh, you okay? Are you okay with it? Wait, why you crying though? Wait, you crying now? Why? Are you okay? Jimothy, are you okay, Jimothy? We need to call the embassy or something. We need to call your buddies at the CMA to help. I mean, why? Why are you crying? I'm just saying, it's like Microsoft hasn't even put it down yet, and Sony's shaking in their boots. Now, picture this: the future. Xbox has Call of Duty. They own it. They have Blizzard. They have King. They have StarCraft. They have freaking Candy Crush, whatever. They have, Diablo. They have Overwatch. They have World of Warcraft. They have all these. I haven't even named the Activision things, right? I mean, Call of Duty, obviously. Plus the studios. They have all of that, right? So that alone, not even making a game, just status quo, Infinity Ward, and all these other studios at Activision are making the Call of Duty bi-yearly or whatever it is, and that's what's happening, right? So they haven't even made the games yet. They haven't even put out Forza Motorsport proper Prime. They haven't. I mean, that's just like whatever. Fable's coming. Elder Scrolls, Starfield. Come on, it's so ridiculous. Sony is so done. PlayStation is so done right now that this is what they're gonna have to do. Okay, to keep the hype up. To try to change the narrative of the terms of the console war, they're gonna come out with a PlayStation either 5 Pro or 6 early. That's what I'm saying. They've already shrunk. I never did a video on it, but they shrunk the actual size of the motherboard of the PlayStation 5. It's smaller now, but they didn't change the shell. The shell is still huge. So I'm looking at that and I'm like, y'all could definitely make a smaller console, but they just choose not to. I'm like, why wouldn't you? If you redesign it, use less plastic, it would definitely be less. So they're working towards a PlayStation 5 Slim, which is fine. That's just par for the course in these console generations. But they have to do something to spark up interest, to give the ponies and the donkey unicorns their narratives, because they can't do it with the IPs. They can't do it with the game. God of War Ragnarok is the last thing that they have been talking about. I mean, they got Wolverine, that's yours. They got Spider-Man 2, that's yours. But those aren't theirs. That's Marvel games. And here's the thing, right? That nobody's talking about either. Remember how MLB, 2020, 21, and 22, MLB was like, yeah, that you got to put that on Xbox. So he's like, okay. They were forced to make an Xbox game. Sony was forced to make an Xbox game. Do you understand that, right? Okay. So, who is to say that Marvel doesn't say, wait a second, we can make, I mean, basically it's half and half, right? It's almost 50-50 as far as the number of consoles out there. Marvel's losing out on at least, I'm gonna just say roughly 5 million sales of their games. Plus, I mean, they're putting them on PC, but is that enough? Marvel's like, wait, we can make another 5 million. Listen, Marvel's not this like, oh, we're loyal to Sony. No. They want to make money just like everybody else. They want to make money just like Sony. So they must be in some sort of a contract as far as that goes. But once that contract is up, better watch out. You better watch out. Speaking about contracts, the whole thing about Jim Ryan crying about, a longer, the inadequacy of the deal that Microsoft put out, the 3+ years, making it like 2027 or whatever, it's asinine, and it makes me believe that he is on some stuff or something. I don't know. It's like, because I think that he thinks that he's running the movie division, where Marvel back in the 90s sold the rights to Spider-Man in perpetuity, as long as, the caveat is, Sony makes a Spider-Man movie every 7 years, I think it is, or something like that. So with that caveat, as long as Sony Motion Pictures makes, Sony Pictures, whatever it is, as long as they make a Spider-Man property game within that allotted time, they can keep it forever. So I think that's what Jim Ryan's on. He's on some point like, oh yeah, just like the movie. Like, no, that's not no. You cannot compare that crazy deal that Marvel gave Sony to what's going on right now. Does Jim Ryan really expect Microsoft to sign away the rights of exclusivity of IP that they bought for $69 billion because Spider-Man is, because of the way the Spider-Man deal on the movie side worked? Does he really think that's how? I mean, I know Jim Ryan is good at business, I guess. I don't believe Jim Ryan is an idiot. I don't think that. Is he pompous? Maybe. Or maybe he's just playing the role that he needs to play in order to keep his job. Maybe. Regardless, he's not giving a good look for Sony. He is looking bad. People are making fun of him. I mean, the whole Pinocchio, the long-nosed Jim Ryan gif, that's ubiquitous now. You can't find a picture of Jim Ryan without the nose, right? So I'm like, it remains to be interesting, but it also is an indication, like, if this deal does not go through, then I'm going to be very angry, especially at the CMA, and then I will know for sure that there's corruption within the video game industry, obviously. I mean, there probably is. Let's be real, right? There's corruption in most business, right? Not gonna say all business, but most business, because we're dealing with money, and people are greedy, and people want the money. People don't want to pay taxes, so they do this, they do that, they do some things that may not be up to snuff. You know what I'm saying? So, that's a given. But in plain sight of us laymen, it's a little bit of insulting, I think. I mean, the fact that they're treating their fans so horribly is one thing, but acting like we're effing idiots is another thing. And even though I'm not a fan of PlayStation and Sony or Jim Ryan, he needs to step back. He needs to find his role, his new role. He needs to find some humility. He needs to get taught a lesson. He needs to get smacked the F up, because this is unacceptable behavior as far as I'm concerned. If I'm the main CEO of Sony and I see one of my underlings acting like this, and I'm like, I'm gonna be looking crooked at that fool. I'm like, alright, so I mean, okay, so show me the numbers again. And I look at the numbers like, okay, all right, you're still making us money, but Jeff, what the? And I would be looking for his. I would be looking for his replacement, literally. Maybe I don't know. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It's just. It's frustrating because it's not really about Sony and Microsoft and video games and console wars. It's about respecting your consumers, man. It's about respecting gamers and also not messing up video games as an industry. Like I said before, he's not concerned with video games. He's just concerned about Sony's pocketbook. And that's bad because that has no consideration of the industry as a whole. He doesn't care how healthy anybody else is doing. And that's bad because when Atari went down, they didn't care. They didn't care about the industry. They were just like, let's just dump all these games, this hot trash can, let's go. And it crashed. They weren't looking out for the industry. They were looking out for themselves. Luckily, now the industry's strong enough to not fall for the banana in the tailpipes anymore. If Sony fails and goes down to third place, the industry is okay because Nintendo is around, Microsoft is around, PC gaming is around. Sony's acting like they're the only game in town. And once again, the hubris is blinding them. They don't realize that they are a major player, but they are not the only player. You got Tencent, you got freaking, you got Embracer Group, and you got Microsoft are the three big ones. Sony's like, they're there, they're making the money. They're bigger than Microsoft as far as revenue right now. But look at the studios. Look at what's going on. The seat is changing. And Sony will not be number one. Will they be number one this whole entire generation? They may be able to hold on to it. But honestly, I think they might lose it. By the end of this generation, 2027, it's 5 years, yeah. I think they're going to lose it. They're going to lose the lead. And whether it's console sales, they're probably going to lose the lead in that. Just barely, kind of like the PS3 generation, how they gained the lead at the end only by selling the PS3 for 2 extra years past the generation's end. See, that's the things that y'all don't remember. Y'all dog unicorns, you ponies, you don't remember. Oh, the PlayStation 3 won that generation because it sold the most units. Dumb. But you didn't mention the fact that they kept selling it past the PlayStation 4's launch in order to get the numbers higher so they can look good or whatever. Save face. Well, they're losing face left and right now. Thank you, Jim Ryan. I appreciate it. That the conspiracy theory still stands as far as I'm concerned. The West is taking over. They are going to sabotage and destroy Sony from within. Thank you, Jim Ryan. You are a savior, Trojan horse in it. Thank you. Appreciate it. Anyway, that's kind of crazy. But anyway, yeah, Jim Ryan's talking shite, and it's ridiculous, and whatever. And I'm joking about the conspiracy theory, but it seems like he is kind of sabotaging it a little bit. And the last thing, people are saying, oh, I understand. He's doing what he needs to do and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you know what? You can say that, right? You can say, oh, he's doing what he needs to do in order to protect his interests and stuff, right? And while that may be true, he's not doing a good job. His words are poorly written, poor choice of words. I will assume that he wrote them. He didn't have a staff writer or somebody write that. He wrote that himself, and it's not a good look. It's bad. It makes him look bad. It makes his company he's representing look bad. Besides the things that they're actually doing bad. So bad. So yeah, now Sony's going down. they're literally doing it to themselves. It's not like, oh, Microsoft is doing all these things and poor Sony. They're trying to couch it like that, like, oh, we can't compete, and they're crying over there and acting like the victim. And it's like, no, y'all can't compete because you refuse to compete and you ain't got the money to compete. It's so entertaining. But anyway, I appreciate you hanging out. Go in the comments, let me know what do y'all think about Jim Ryan talking the talk again. He keeps digging a hole deeper and deeper. And let me know, man. I appreciate every one of y'all, and I'll see y'all on the next one.